Hello, this is Lisa Russick and Misty Lore with the podcast We're All Psychic, and today we have a complete stranger guest, my favorite kind, and her name is Elizabeth. Would you like to say hello?
Yeah, hi. Hi, how are you guys? I'm Elizabeth Montgomery.
Misty, would you like to ask her a question?
Sure, Elizabeth. I would love to know, do you think that we're all psychic?
Most definitely.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Why is that? Just tell me why.
Okay, it's a long story.
I love a long story. That's what podcasts are for.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready, listeners? Listeners are ready. They're listening.
Actually, I just wrote a book on it, so I have 144,000 words telling us why and how important it is for us to reconnect this, because seriously, our lives, our souls depend on it. So it's really important for us to reconnect what I call our divine technology. Okay, so I do believe that we are all intuitive, psychic. We have siddhas or abilities, unique gifts and talents that we don't even know yet. Okay. And we have been taken offline. Okay. There's been a plan there. It's been a purposeful thing, because that's our power. And the title of my book is The Infinite Human. So I say we're actually infinite. And the good news, the beautiful news is that we are now able to get back online. We have been taken offline for eons, for a very long time, but our divine technology is, how do I explain it? It's like I don't call it the internet, I call it the infinite. We've been surfing
like that. Yeah.
but the infinite, all that is, ever has been, and ever shall be, is we're reconnected to it, because we've been it's been separated from us. We've fallen. I guess that's the best way. It's kind of like
we're going backwards. Yeah.
Yes, we've been taken on. We've been hijacked. Let me just say, been hijacked on purpose, and now we can get back online, and it's really important for us to do that, because we're getting scammed into the not the real deal, the fake deal, the AI deal.
What is that?
That's awesome.
Okay. You asked it.
I know. I have to know.
Okay, so if you look at the history of the planet, of course, if you look at intuitive, especially women, if you just look at women, the whole history of women, it hasn't been a very pretty one. And, I'm in Italy right now. So, right outside my window, of course, we have like the burnings, the witches being burned during the Inquisition and all this. And anyone that had any psychic, intuitive abilities, was hunted down and
children
and burnt, or stoned or drowned.
Hanged. Yeah.
And there's a reason for that, because that's where your power is, that inner knowing, that connection, that ability to, what do you call it? Telepathizing, the precognitive, the premonitions, the, a dream interpretation, there's so many,
avenues
using thoughts to create your reality.
Yes.
It goes on. And that was something that we had. And it was taken out of it, stomped out of us, and it's stomped out of children now, because they have these, they can see auras, like my dog Kiki, she can see auras, and children usually can see auras. Children can feel things intuitively. Yes. We're taught that our emotions are wrong, although our emotions are our doorway into this feeling of, extrasensory perception and feeling. We can feel if a room has negative entities.
Right. Or just a bad vibe. I mean, anybody can feel like it doesn't feel good here. What does that mean? It means your psychic energy says it doesn't feel good in here.
Right.
But we're told, oh, what's wrong with you? The children, what? No, you have to do it. Suck it up. Go in there.
Just your imagination. Yeah.
Your imagination. Yeah. Which is your passport. I always say,
I like that.
The magical mist, and it was a message many years ago that children are losing their creative sparkle because they're told that their imagination is nothing, their creativity is nothing, but it's your passport into these higher dimensions, these other dimensions. It's a door, it's how you get there.
I
Yeah.
agree. The imagination is the key and the door.
Yes,
It's
you've
like
said that
everything.
before,
It's like all
Lisa.
you do everything with it. You know, everybody's got an imagination. What the heck is an imagination? It's what is it? You know, like nobody can tell us what it is.
Something we come up with.
Yeah,
That's all I can say.
we have to figure it out.
It's her
Yeah,
intuition. It's her
everybody has an imagination. So how
Everyone
can we
until
say
it's stomped out of them, until it's kicked out of them, until standardized tests make them think it's A, B, C, or D, or you're not on the, that's
yeah,
not
what
there.
happened to
Yeah.
E? None of the above. I think for myself.
That's my
None of the above.
Or all of the above and more.
There's a cat.
Yeah, of course. He's always at every podcast. Gandalf. He likes to come on the podcast.
Yes, he makes his appearance.
Beautiful name.
So Elizabeth, what do you know? Like what have you discovered or found out or learned, or how you learn anything like about like disabilities being stomped out of us long ago, or anything? Like we've heard a lot of different theories about how this might have happened from different people. I'd like to see if, and most of them corroborate with each other. The people who have had knowledge of the ancient times and stuff like that given to them.
Yes, and that's what we're having to do. We're having to reconstruct our information as we climb. Okay, we're climbing in frequency. We're all energetic frequency beings, right? I think we can all agree with that. We all know we're all energetic. And there's lower, like, cat's tail.
He likes to steal the show.
So we've been kept kind of like on an AM radio station when there's like FM and so many other things. So we've been kept here because why? It's easy to control us. It's easy to manipulate us. It's easy to when you
who's doing it though? Who wants to?
Ooh, good question.
That's what I want to know.
Yes.
So this is the hidden history of the planet that we are all starting to tap into. And as we raise our frequency, we tune into the truth. And actually, the truth is a frequency. Truth, love, true light, all these are from, like I call the higher God source worlds that we are now, the pathway's been cleared. We just have to reattach. And I say we reattach our SIM card, our internal SIM card, which is organic. It's not AI, okay, guys? It's not AI. It's your organic, and when you can reattach, reconnect your internal, pineal gland, clean it out, reattach your third eye, you can get really clean downloads, all right? And so you can start to know what resonates when you hear something.
When you said reattach your third eye, do you feel that most people have lost it? And it just it gets reattached or grows, or what do you mean by that?
I'm really
curious. I never used to feel mine, and then one day suddenly I just felt it.
Okay, so starting.
It was it was a few years, about 6 years ago. I just started feeling it.
I never even thought to feel it.
It just starts. It kind of swirls and vibrates, and sometimes it'll fill up my whole forehead and back here. And
never even thought about that.
Yeah, it's like tingles and like swirls and stuff. So so maybe you're saying it was taken from me, and how did I get it back? It just
okay. So it's been taken from everyone on the planet, and that's your psychic. That's your SIM card. That's your passport. That's your passport. And it's been taken off. Oh my gosh, just look at the chemtrails. I mean, I think everyone can agree there's chemtrails, right? We can all agree on that, right? Chemtrails, don't miss them anymore. The fluoride in the water, the calcite, the aluminum, all this stuff attaches to your pineal gland. And I did an esoteric Renaissance walking tour for many years until I moved down here in Sicily. And I talked about it. I said, the Philosopher's Stone, the Philosopher's Stone. Have you ever heard
alchemy?
About that?
Yes. I have an interest in alchemy. Yeah.
We're talking about
growing interest. It's a new interest that's just coming along. Yeah.
So alchemy, it's all in, I talk about, of course, during the esoteric Renaissance, the truth was, Marsilio Ficino was the court magician in the Medici family to Lorenzo de Medici, the whole Medici thing. And he worked with Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, all these artists, and they were all wizards, alchemists. They were
alchemists.
And in the Sistine Chapel The whole God touching Adam thing.
Yeah.
It's really the really thing, if you look closely, is that God is inside a perfect atomical cross section of the human brain. And everyone thought that he was saying the human brain was God, which he wasn't, because he was an alchemist. And he was saying the philosopher's stone, which is what, the Harry Potter, they're always looking.
Yeah, the eternal life.
Has sought this philosopher's stone for eons. And I always say, I have a whole chapter in the book about what is this philosopher's stone. And if you go to the Catholic Church, for example, they have what they call the Holy See, which is a pine cone, on a staff. And here in Sicily, they have a satiro, it's called, that they found at the bottom of the ocean. It's 2,000 years old, and it's this ancient Greek statue of this like whirling dervish, but it's actually a Greek young boy who's holding the pine cone on the staff. So the pine cone.
Oh, that's old. That's some old stuff.
The ancients knew about the pine cone dripping milk and honey. And it's all written, like in the, it gets really in depth, but
go.
Now.
Educate me on alchemy.
Well, we're all seeking, especially when we go into crystal shops, when we look for crystals, we're all looking for this jewel that has been lost. And that's what we're seeking, the philosopher's stone. So, and I always ask my adepts on the tour at the end of the tour, I said, do you know what that stone is? Do you know what the philosopher's stone is?
And what is that?
Everyone has
it. I've always assumed it. Oh, you mean the actual one? Is it the pineal gland? I'm just guessing. I went there.
Very good, because everyone's like, but it is. And what it's supposed to look like, it's a grain of rice, but it's all filled with crystalline structures. So it's just like your computer. It has crystals in it that receive the Wi-Fi signals. And ours has been taken offline. If you do, in fact, surgeons now use it because it's just a big stone, calcified stone in the center of your brain. And they use it if they have to do, surgery or something, because everyone's just calcified. Everyone on planet. That's why everyone's like, what's going on? Let's turn on the news to see what we should think, what we should,
Isn't that the truth? Yeah, I totally agree with that.
So that's that's your psychic ability. I mean, everyone has different ways of expressing it, but that is your I say, your Wi-Fi to the infinite, outside of the net, not the net. The net's like artificial AI, but the net is not artificial technology. It's divine technology.
That's awesome.
Why did they take our pineal glands and our philosopher's stones offline? Who did that and why? You must tell me.
Yes. That's
if you want a hint, that's okay, and I can guess.
Well, let me ask you. Okay, why do you think they would do that?
Power over us for some reason, or a punishment. Yeah. One or the other.
If you don't know what's going on, I mean, you can't control people that can see beyond the illusions, right?
Right. Yeah. That makes total sense.
And that, which is why they sought out and hunted throughout the ages. I mean, we're not just talking the Inquisition of witches. We're talking about, if you look at history, we're talking about the Templars Knights massacring.
Well, down to Jesus, all he had was a message, and he didn't have any, he did miracles, but he got crucified, for having.
Or did he?
We might have. I mean, the stories say that basically he came and he was different from everybody, and they kill him. And it's a basic story of, someone doing good and sharing energy and then getting killed for it. So it's like a great example, whether, people believe in that or not, it's a story we all know of someone doing good and getting, that's where the word like crucified comes from,
Exactly.
Crucify those people. I mean, it's like a catchphrase now, witch hunting, another one.
Okay. I'm going to just give another take on that, because a lot, the Bible, and I start out my book talking about the Word of God. The Word of God is a vibrational frequency. The Word was God, and the Word was with God. So we're talking about a vibrational frequency, right? God's Word.
Right.
And I quote a lot about the Bible, but the Bible, you have to realize, has been incredibly co-opted, hijacked, mistranslated.
Rewritten.
Yes. Rewritten and been pulled out.
Like whoever
Yeah.
rewrote it and who told them to rewrite it.
Yeah, and pull stuff out. Yeah.
And all the different Christianity religions, is including Catholicism. Like you, I was raised Catholic. They
I
teach
wasn't raised Catholic, but I am in Catholic.
okay. Yeah, I was raised Catholic. So I mean, they don't do much with Bible other than the 3 years rotation of the scripture in the masses. So but most Christian religions, they each religion will kind of have their own Bible.
And mold
like
Oh,
and
now it's translated, and everyone in just in English. Every franchise has its own,
it's kind of weird
interpretation. So okay.
Yeah.
So one of the interpretations that I did in my research I ran across was the crucifixion, okay, which is very interesting because the Essenes, who actually held the true frequencies of the true records, and were killed because of it, and it was stolen and hijacked and co-opted. Okay, they understood the metaphor because the Bible is really about what we call ascension. Are you familiar? You understand ascension, right? Ascension mechanics, how to ascend. It was like a manual. And the crucifixion, actually the word okay, what it was about is it's called the raising of the chrism. And the chrism is, for example, Calvary is also your skull, okay? Bethlehem, okay, where all this is talking.
Oh, I see. You're saying this is symbolic of this taken.
Symbolic of the raising of the milk and honey, which is the melatonin and the and crucify means in Greek, it means to fortify or to make stronger. So what it is that the whole rising up from your up here, then down into your pelvis area. It links with the kundalini, and then it raises that cerebral spinal fluid up, fortifying it, which then bathes your pituitary and your pineal gland, all right, opening the third eye and creating really melatonin has been linked with longevity, okay, with health, with all this stuff, which we no longer have. So we're back to the third eye and the psychic abilities, of course they're going to change that into, and sorry, I'm going to say something that it really upsets my Catholic friends, but
oh, I'm not Catholic anymore, obviously.
I'm just going to say it because, really, okay, we're here in Italy. We see crucifixions all the time, not just crosses.
The cross. Oh, okay.
We see bloody bodies of half naked
people reenact it.
Man, oh yeah, I saw that too. Back 2 years ago in Florence, they reenacted. They're so into this crucifixion thing. Whereas the ascension art, you don't ever see the ascension art, which is,
that's the whole point. That was the point it was done, right? According to the, this teaching.
Thank you. Because that is the ascended. Okay, now we're going to get into DNA. DNA's
right. I love it. I love you. You're getting.
I love her too. She's awesome.
Because so it's just, a plot thickens. We have two strands, but we're not supposed to. We're supposed to have 12 strands. 12 strands
of DNA.
Yes.
Wow.
Each strand is like reconnecting with intuitive abilities. A Christ body, the Christ, and there were more than just, Yesu or whatever you want to call it, Sophia, Maria, different names, okay? But the Christ that we've been taught, okay, had 12 strands, which is why all these miracles, we think they're miracles, but they're not. They're just something that people,
everybody can do.
We could all do. We were all angelic, divine, what I call infinite human beings, Christ beings. We were all that way. Yes. And we fell. We were pulled out of that and tampered with and had our DNA distorted. So we can't, it's like a car, a Batmobile. We have Batmobiles, but we don't know how to.
I have a question for you. I do have a question. If someone were to take this from us and it weren't a punishment and it's a control method, what do they have to gain by controlling us? Like seriously, like I'm really curious. What do they have to gain by controlling us? Yeah. What our souls, our actions, what?
Your life. Yeah.
Well, what are you? I mean, you're energy frequency. You're energetic, like a battery. You've got energy, right? I mean,
Right.
every person has energy. The soul, when the body dies, it loses what I think 20 grams. So that's in
23 grams. Yeah, I like
23.
that.
Thank
23, I think. I think it's 23.
Yeah.
you.
Which, 2 plus 3 in numerology is 5. Is a big change.
Change. It is a big change.
My favorite number. I love that number. Change.
Mhm.
So, okay. So what they are getting is I talk about the infinite, which is which is energy beings that connect directly with source. Okay, they feed from source, and it's a giving, taking, and they are service to others because they get freely from source. But there are those who chose not to be connected with the divine. I say it's like the divine. They're not divine
It's like
anymore.
divine love. Connect to that divine love.
Well, it's
Yeah.
like I say it's like a fruit. When you pluck it from the vine, what happens? It starts to rot, right?
You got to eat it.
They're no longer connected to the divine of life. So they're anti-life, parasitic, narcissistic, self-serving, dark
Selfish.
entities that have to feed off of
Feed.
others.
That's
And they
what
have to feed off of Christ, high vibrational beings and pull them down like bottom feeders, like sharks. They have to like feed on them. And if you can realize that that's what happened to our planet, I think one thing I ask everyone that starts my esoteric tour, I always say, what do you think about the planet? And they all say it's screwed up. It's messed up. It's messed up. Okay. And I think everyone can agree that this planet has problems.
the people on it have problems, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not
People on
Mother
it,
Earth,
yeah.
not Mother Earth, but there's greed, there's war, there's
Yeah.
hatred, racism, there's
Resentment, pain, suffering
Yeah.
from other
suffering,
people.
pain, sexual misery, the dividing of everything possible.
People are being divided. They're forced.
Yes.
They're being influenced too by other people. They're being told what to think and how to think, and by the media a lot of times,
Mm.
They're
and by
being
family and friends.
divided and conquered. Divided and conquered. The name of the game.
Yeah.
And I just did a podcast the other day with African American. I'm American, but I live in Italy. And I told her it doesn't exist here. We don't have racism. It doesn't exist. And I was like crying because I grew up in Kentucky, and I was talking about all the trauma and all the wounds that we have in our country from
Yeah.
first coming and killing all the indigenous people, and then having slaves. I mean,
Separating races, that's just
Yeah.
but that there's a reason that we've been that way. We've been polarized in reverse polarities to keep us, to keep us down, so they could feed off of us. That's what they're doing. They're parasiting.
What do they do after they fed on us? They just keep surviving themselves, or do they go on to take over other places?
Let's just take a bank. Let's just take a bank. We don't have to get into other. Let's just take a bank. What does a bank do? They create money. Okay,
They steal my money when I go overdraft.
We poor folks.
Exactly. Thank you. You said it all. Okay, I talked about the whole scam about the Federal Reserve and how they took us off the gold standard, and that's a whole thing. And they created usury, and so now the money, there's no money. Money's all fictitious. It's fictitious, like ones and zeros,
imaginary.
They lend it to you, and then they get interest from you. You work for it. It's a black magic Babylonian cursed system to keep you enslaved. So they feed off of your time, 9 to 5. I mean, your time is so precious, but they enslave people, and they're feeding off of people through this. It's just an illusion because it's not real. There is no real money anymore.
Right. Do they feed off of like the energy of pain, or do they feed off the energy of happiness, or both?
It's called loosh, and they feed off loosh.
How do you spell that?
Loosh.
I'll read about that. Loosh. Okay.
Yeah.
My book, The Infinite Human. But loosh,
read it.
Loosh is created from pain, suffering, blood sacrifices. It's all this. We've heard a lot about the trafficking, the child trafficking. I don't know if that's coming up, but that is it does really
That's
happen.
horrible. That's all over the place.
Horrible.
And you know what? Guess what, guys? It's not new, because right down the road from me, like down your house, you might have a McDonald's. Down my house, I have a island called Mosia, where the Phoenicians. This is true. I went there and visited. The mother and the father of a newborn child would put these like masks on, and they'd take their child to a temple and they would kill it for the gods. Yes, this happened. This happened. This happened. I mean, come on, virgins to the gods. The mythology is filled with that. This has been up for a long time.
Yeah, it has. You're right.
Chichen Itza, they used to cut the hearts. I've been there. They cut the hearts out of people. You can feel the energy when you go there.
Wow.
Gosh, I can't imagine the pain and fear and
I wouldn't want that
absence
negative energy.
just the absence. I can feel it like just void there.
But that's why they do it, because they have to feed off of. They can't feed off of positive high vibes. They have to make they want terror, fear, and trauma, and that's why we have wars always being started. That's why we have suffering, violence, rape against women. I mean,
so you're saying kind of like the reason that there's so much suffering is that we're not connected and not working with our psychic energy, our energy work, our energetic field, and it's been disconnected for that reason, kind of is what you're getting at. So now a bunch of people now, like we're doing this podcast, we have listeners, what? And there's a lot of podcasts doing this, and a lot of like bookstores with all body, mind, spirit, and this our state, we're in Alabama, the states, it's in our state, right? So I mean, people are getting interested and they want to know more, but they're scared. So that fear is also there for that, while they're starting to investigate this side of themselves. Do you have any advice for people to not let themselves sink into that negative mind space where they may be fed upon? And
I have a lot of advice, because get over that. That's yesterday. We got a bigger problem right
That's
now.
right, we do.
We got a much bigger problem. Okay, so one of my I have like an infinite human family. I'm like connecting them together. They read the book. We're like all kind of coming together, and it has a lot to do with the fall of Atlantis and Lemuria, guys. Okay, and a lot of the divine feminine, the women, the female aspect of ourselves, because we're both masculine and feminine, and the male counterpart got really, really embedded. Are we okay if I say Atlantis?
Of course, we've been talking about Atlantis and Lemuria. We had Starseed podcasts and Galactic Beings podcasts. We love this. I love this. I love that stuff.
I just say what illusion.
You can say whatever you want.
Atlantis fell because the males counterparts were really into AI. They started tampering and ruining the crystalline divine technology that was integrated with our bodies and earth, and it was crystallized. It was in harmony with divine source. It was harmonious, and they started moving it into reverse polarities and something artificial. Unbeknownst to them, they were like being kind of co-opted by a darker hand, okay, to bring about the fall, which caused the masculine and feminine to sever, and it caused the Lemurian and masculine and feminine, because Lemurian was more feminine, Atlantean more masculine, to fall and to shift the poles, and we've lost 2 continents. And this is a trauma that we all carry within us. And there were females from the Council of Mu, and we all knew this was going to happen, and we all said, let's meet back when we come back to our ascension cycle, which we are now in 26,800 years later. And a lot and the divine feminine, the solar Christ female, is coming back online, and I always say we're the ones that are going to fix it.
Yeah, we are.
And we are the true queens and kings, though, because a true queen is not someone who rules over people. A true queen is someone who is a guardian of Mother Earth and all of organic life and creation. And many of us are feeling this call.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
now, we have the queen, the false queen, yesterday in the Jubilee, because a lot of my friends are from England. She sent me a link, and I realized what she did was she put the Jubilee, she put this symbolic thing. There were a lot of satanic symbolisms there, but she put this thing, and it was like a 3-stranded DNA. And I knew about the 3rd strand of DNA 25 years ago. In fact, my husband and I wrote a screenplay about it called The 3rd Strand. But what that is it's synthetic. Okay. So this is there's door number 1, door number 2. And all I've talked about tonight is organic, right? Organic, divine, organic technology, Mother Earth, respect for all life. In the Hopi prophecy, a rock that was put there 5,000 years ago, talks about 2 paths of the one-hearted and the two-hearted people. The two-hearted people is what everybody's jumping on. And it's making technology their God. Whereas the other path, road less traveled, is the true path of ascension, true ascension. And it comes from respect for all things. And it's harder.
Gratitude.
Mm-hmm. It is harder. You're right about that.
Because people are going to, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just said it's not easy. It's not an easy road at all.
And people are going to they're going to go, they have door number 1, door number 2, and one has bells and whistles, and they're going to be offered this chip in the brain, microchip in the brain. They're going to think that's, wow, I'm telepathizing because, I'm getting texts and memes, and I'm connected to this 5G hive mind. And that's going to be the ascension matrix. And they're going to be the technology available now. And I talked about the have and have nots. And they're talking about the future of have and have nots, of neurally enhanced haves that are more intelligent. They're going to look young. They're going to be immortal, but they're connected to a hive mind of artificial net technology. Not
somebody's little. I do have some theories about AI that I'd love to discuss with you some other time. Other kinds of AI, the good kinds, but the kinds that men are manipulating out of their good kinds, humans, I mean. But I feel like, yes, that's a very progressive where people are heading. They want that. They want, we started with our Google glasses where we can like have little letters pop up when we're walking. And like, that's that the restaurant over there has cheese sticks for $4.99. This has clothes, Levi's for $29.99. You ever seen those Google glasses? They were popular in like 2010. They didn't take off.
Technology's getting closer and closer. It was the tell a lie vision. I call it tell a lie vision. Now computers.
Tell a lie vision. I love that. I don't like TV.
The phones are going into our brain, watches, glasses, and then microchips into our brain. And it's our Elon Musk has already done that. I'm sorry. I don't mean to get all controversial here, but I do.
No, I just never heard that term before. Maybe
because the pandemic was basically laying the foundation for what we're now entering, and these next 10 years are crucial. And what it did, the pandemic accomplished its goals. It locked everyone up, and while they did, they laid all their 5G towers everywhere on the planet, everywhere. Then, even though lawyers tried to stop them, Stefano Galluzzi here in Italian tried to sue the U.S. through the UN and stop Elon Musk from activating SpaceX. So the space cage is now encircling the planet of low orbiting satellites, not organic, not natural, not good for Mother Earth. And they've done their, I know I'm not American. I'm not into the politics at all, please. But, DARPA has been working on bioweaponry, biotechnology for years, CRISPR gene editing technology, which they have injected, most of the people on the planet with. So that's the first step, which connects you and connects your brain algorithms to the Wi-Fi signals. So that's the first step. Then they're going to have, they want to have holograms like next to us. I mean, we've seen the future of
like with our energy work, we don't need any of that. And I think that's your point. We don't need this.
Yeah, it is.
We don't need to do it. It's already there. We just need to.
We're coming online now. We're in a cycle.
Right.
That's why they're offering this now. It's been there. They've had this technology before.
Yes,
They're not offering And now to distract you outward instead of going inward where, it's really happening.
Yes. That's where it all starts, is inward. Yeah.
Maybe some people want, like, a lot of people aren't spiritual, or they don't really look at this stuff, the psychic side, the energy work or anything. They don't care, or they don't believe, or they have no interest. So they will think of something as a microchip put into their head or something like that, information.
Right.
Wow, this would be great. I would know so much more. But they're not open to this. They've never learned about it, maybe, or they learned about it the wrong way from people who were manipulating them, scammers, stuff like that, who wanted to, get something. And I think a lot of those people who would not look at it the way we're looking at it, they've been bitter. They've been, either that or they just haven't been exposed to it and they don't know. But they do know what the media says because it's everywhere, if you want to look at it.
Well, I believe, this has happened This has happened many times. This is kind of like Groundhog Day. Have you ever seen Groundhog Day?
Yeah.
Going around this loop, this Platonic year. Platonic year is like 26,800 years. So Platonic year, NASA calls it the Platonic year. Plato calls it the great year, but it's the precession of the equinox so we've been doing this over and over again, but I feel like this time the plan changed because they really want they want us to get out of this trap, because we're in a matrix. We're in, the Matrix, the movie, the Matrix.
Now, who wants us to get out? Us, or is there somebody else who wants us to get out? The divine?
The divine are beings, non-corporeal beings from higher density dimensions that created us, that want us to have our free will back, to want us to be divine expressions. It's okay for us to fall, but we've fallen and we don't even know we've fallen. That's how
It sounds like we didn't fall. It sounds like we were kicked down.
We were pulled down, and we've been doing this so much. So they're like, how are we going to get them out of here? It's like, when you have, you're like, I don't know if you have kids. I don't have kids, but
I have two stepsons. She has three daughters.
You're like sitting there. How can I teach them this without teaching? Let them to have.
I went ahead and told them. One accepts and she's interested, and the other one's kind of like, doesn't tell me what he thinks.
Yeah.
What do your daughters do, Misty?
Well, I have tried to teach mine, especially my youngest, because I know more now than I did with my older two. But I'm really trying to get her to connect with herself by meditating more. The younger, the better. I've now seen my grandson, who is 4. He started meditating. I've been trying to get him to do it.
He learned it at school too.
Yeah, he did. He learned it in gym. They started meditating in gym class. Awesome. I mean, I just think that's just great. Find out who you are. Don't let anybody tell you who you are. You find out who you are. And then from there, you will grow.
Yes. And then they'll be able to discern and start thinking for themselves. Oh my God. Nobody wants you to do that.
Especially kids, especially children and young adults. People, adults, we're the adults now. Oh my God. But that's scary. But, they are told by us like we know anything. And I think the generation, I'm 47. My stepsons are 22 and 18.
You're a big little kid.
And it's a long story to that. But I feel like that generation, I feel like they're exposed. First of all, like the generation after ours, maybe they got the Harry Potter touch. They got they got into the Harry Potter, and then magic might be real. Might be. Something might be real like that, because it's so real in those books and it's so believable. So that opened up a generation to our generation. Was also like kind of in the closet about some of the spirituality and New Age and all that stuff we called it, and energy work and psychic stuff. But this one after that generation with Harry Potter, my son's generation and your daughter's generation, it seems like they have been exposed to this from a young age for the most part because of Harry Potter generation. They're the ones who are like coming out of the closet, coming out of the broom closet, and then their kids are learning from them. And like my stepsons learned from me if they wanted to, and they have this idea in their lives. All their lives they've had it there, but they do anything
with the imagination that started it.
The
whole series of Harry Potter, it was somebody's imagination. That's what started it. It all comes back to the imagination and love.
Yes.
And love.
And that's my book that I'm trying to get reprinted now. The Magical Mist. I'll have to get you a copy for your children.
Oh,
Yes,
Oh,
I
yeah.
want a copy.
I want a copy. I want a signed copy.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's such a powerful message for children, to realize how valuable their imagination is.
And
If
they
they-
are just
Well,
valuable.
I need that definitely
Misty,
for my daughter.
you have questions. I know you have questions for
Oh,
Elizabeth.
you know I do. I can go on. The main thing that I want to ask you, and I think I already know the answer to this, but I want to hear your take of it. You're talking about all these lower people trying to get our light and steal it from us. So are you talking about like government mostly? Are they the ones that have the third eye completely open, so they're trying to control us?
Well, okay, so I'm just gonna say it, and then
I'm already
No
thinking.
one's judging you, Elizabeth. We already know a lot of the theories.
We're already thinking it.
turn listeners off because if I start talking too much out there. But okay, so there are definitely there is definitely. I just did a newsletter. I live where the mafia was started. My town here, Castellamare, it was the Godfather, Michael Corleone. I don't know, that character was from this town.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. I love mafia
I
stories.
wrote a newsletter about the mafia, and how the mafia, they control things. We call it the Black Hand. And I said, is it so hard to believe that there are mafia families that control the planet? Really that
Right,
hard to believe
right.
that. Of course, when you have
No,
money
it's not.
and power, you're gonna, have these connections, and they supersede all countries. They supersede police, military, because they are the ones that through their money, through their black magic curses of money, they control the people in power, the
Yeah.
presidents, whatever, and the military and all that. So yes, there is and they're coming out of the woodwork now. They're calling it the New World Order, and they're getting people online because the New World Order, that was the one world order. The New World Order is now becoming the AI technological tyrannical order that is reaching into every aspect of our lives.
Yeah,
The data.
I'm just trying to get people aware of what to look out for. Like, they're trying to get their third eye opened, and I just want people to look for these things, so they're not controlled by other people and their thoughts. You know what I mean? Just be on the lookout for this kind of thing is really what I'm trying.
That's true.
How can people be aware? Do you have any advice for how people can be aware when this might be happening to them?
Yeah.
How can you be aware when you don't know, right?
How can you not be aware?
I know, right? I know.
I can understand how you cannot be aware. You don't want to be.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the Council of Mu. Okay, I believe right now there are plants on this planet, and it's no coincidence that there's a trinity of females right here. We're talking,
Yeah.
and we're awakening every day. I mean, this conversation that we had now, probably in a week, in a year, in a few years, it'll be like, oh gosh, yeah, of course. You don't know how powerful you are. You're going to know it. But a lot of us are what I call almost Christos star seeds or premium star seeds or very evolved souls that incarnated at this time to hold in the higher frequencies and to offer a choice, because the masses are going to opt for this easy way. A lot of them are, and a lot of them are not going to wake up. I know, I have family members, and so many people have family members. You can scream at them until they're blue in the face. They're not going to hear it. And they don't have the ability. They probably don't have the genetics. They don't have the
they were taught differently too, and changing your thinking is very hard.
It is.
Changing your belief systems if you're challenged with a new one that you haven't ever thought of that way, or maybe you've just thought of it as entertainment, like psychic reading,
right?
Something like that. But even people in my parents' generation, some of them come for readings and stuff like that about wanting to know what their special, what they can do, how can they do it. That's what I do. A lot of readings. I teach people a lot of stuff about how to do this stuff, and
she's good at
goodness, and they're already doing it, and that's mainly how I start. I point out how they're already doing it.
Right.
If they're empathy or if they're cat loving, coming, saying, Gandalf had to make an appearance again, listeners.
The name of the game in the past, yeah, it was spirituality, past lives, readings, energy work, and that's all very valid and good foundations. But now that we are in an ascension cycle, the name of the game is ascension. That's it. Reconnecting, reactivating your 12 strands of DNA, reconnecting your divine technology. Because when you do that, and you know that you know, and you know that you know.
No. He says is the no.
You just know because you're reconnecting. And you can see your eye, your third eye, the one-eyed woman, is queen in the world of the blind. Okay, right?
Right.
So that's what we've got to do. Now, ascension has become very hijacked. It's not going to happen through AI, and it's going to happen through, basic healing. You have to heal your traumas.
Yes.
Yes.
I am working on that today. As a matter of fact, are we all?
Too. Yes.
He was like, "Yes, you are, Mama."
Gotta get it done.
Listener Gandalf's just gave me a really big love eye look.
It's deep. It's deep. It's powerful. It's difficult work. It takes that's the real courage. That's the real hero. I call it the hero's journey. And in my book, I go through hell and back. I talk about all my wounds, all my, problems, especially as a female, because we have really gotten a bad deal.
Bad time. And I would love to watch period pieces from like from the 1800s and before that, because I love to see how women coped in those movies, like how it's demonstrated. How did they do it?
Right. Well,
how did you do it? How could you not just like punch those men because you would go to jail or die?
Yeah, no choice.
Yeah. So somehow the women we started, convincing some men over 200-year period, at least maybe 100-year period. Hey, we're human. Quit doing this. And some people did listen. Like, some women. There's still a big imbalance, Elizabeth. I'm not saying there isn't, but there's some more accepting us as having power. Although, all three of us can probably attest to this, being in close, intimate, personal, like love relationships. Well, women who date men who aren't as necessarily wanting to explore that side of themselves because they were told not to by our culture mostly. For them to take women like us who are trying to heal ourselves, and they have been told, for example, I'm just giving the lovers example, being in a relationship with someone as trying to heal, the three of us being like this, and trying to show that to them what women, our souls and our spirits, and as a whole, the female energy, the divine feminine, has been just completely severed from their divine feminine by men telling them they're not divine feminine, or they're not good,
right?
They're not
the others, not yourself.
And men in our culture, especially that I know in my age group, and Gandalf, he's a man. they do want to learn from us, but they're a little indoctrinated that they are the ones who have to know and tell the shots, but they also don't want to be like that. It's kind of like men are suppressed too, but they still call the shots. And their suppression is, I think, of the psychic senses, because that's what they're told not to use all their lives, not to talk about it, not to feel, not to show their emotions, not to heal, because they don't need healing. They're strong enough. They don't get hurt. They're ingrained in that. And I feel bad for men in our culture who have that told to them, but there are also some of these men in their culture who were raised that way, didn't ever try to broaden it. They liked that thought. They liked having that power over women,
Yeah.
Well, that's why I think it's very healing to know the hidden history of our planet, and it goes beyond just the false rulers of the planet, or the elites, what they call the elites. But there's dark forces, dark shadow creatures that control those. They're called the archons.
I know who the archons are. Yeah, I've read about them.
Archons, they're fallen angels.
I'll miss you, the archons. Yeah.
And what they've done is they've harnessed the wounded male, the dark masculine, and they've also harnessed the female with the moon goddess, lunar Veskipus Pisces harness. And what that is a false concept of the female as the reflection of the solar male, right?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Got it. That's like a aha there. So a lot of people are getting that energetically because that has been cleaned up. That's been removed. And the sexual misery program is a huge implant into us to stop the most powerful union that exists on this planet, which is the masculine and feminine, the herogamic union of twin souls, of male and female. We all have twin souls. And, so many people are looking for them, but you can never lose your twin soul because it's the other part of you.
Mhm.
But hijack, because when you come together, especially with sacred sexual alchemy, which is so powerful, which opens the third eye, by the way, which augments the psychic abilities, when you do it properly, which is what Christ and the Sophia Maria, they were twin souls. Not the Mary Magdalene, the horror, that was all co-opted, but so many, that is the most powerful union. And that's why we have such problems with the battle of the sexes and the wounded males who don't want to get healed, and the women who have been having to go through men for everything, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, but who am I?
Right, right.
You're not those things. You're a lot more.
That's where we've been limited with home and hearth. Our power has been, we can, manipulate. We have to manipulate men in the world, like Lady Macbeth,
Yes.
Can we keep her, Lisa?
What's that?
Can we keep her?
We can keep her. We're keeping you.
Okay.
You can stay in Italy, but we're keeping you. She means, can you come back to the podcast?
I'd love to.
We'd love to hear more. And
I'm coming back to the States in September for.
Where are you going? Where in?
I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, not far from you guys, and I'm getting. I do everything intuitively. So I want to see my mother because she's turning 90. I hope she makes it. She's not doing well.
You will.
In a while, yeah. And then I'm going to do like a book tour and also do like psychic cares. And I'm going to do it like from Florida over and end up in California. So maybe I can come by and see you guys.
Yes.
I'll go on the psychic fair tour with you if you want. I don't have any money, but I might be able to find some by then. And you get money while you're on the road.
It will happen. I always say about money. If you're meant to do something, the money comes.
Right.
So. You're exactly right. That is so true.
Well, that's really exciting that you're coming. And I mean, and you know what we could do, Elizabeth, if you'd like to come back before you visit or when you're in the States and tell people where you're going to be.
Yeah.
See you.
Do another podcast.
Yeah, we can do another podcast.
I'd love to. Yeah.
And I feel like, Elizabeth, you've been a little hesitant to, spill some of your knowledge because you're thinking, well, maybe we don't know about it or listeners might not know about it. We do. We've had a lot of guests talk about a lot of this stuff.
But you know what also I'm going to do, guys? So let's stay in touch because I'm not sure when. I know I got you, but I want to start doing podcasts too. And I want to bring especially women on so we can discuss and start finding solutions because now we need to heal and we need to then find solutions. So
I love it.
That's great.
Join I'm going to send me your emails. I'll put you on my website, infinitehuman.com. And really, I'm not just trying to peddle it, but my book, and it's not about making money because
like you can't say it all in this podcast. You want to teach it. But
right.
But the first thing is really the infinite human. That's why I wrote it. It has full disclosure. The things I've been holding back, I'm afraid to say. That's why I put it in a book because then you can, books first.
There's a screen there.
You can skip a page if you don't like it. You can use it as toilet paper.
Well, I mean, for you, there's protection for you from judgment because they're your views.
I've been so hijacked and attacked. You wouldn't believe it. But the thing is, it's a book. Most people that read it, they go, "I love it." I'm rereading it, right? Because and me, I swear, I don't understand it all. I told people I don't understand what I wrote because, again, this is I call it cosmic downloads. I just got stuff and I'm going, really? And then I'm reading and I'm going, oh my God, that makes sense. I see how this is playing out, So
yes.
And the whole point, though, at the end, the punchline is you're infinite. You have the power. Tune inward. You got a powerful soul mission. So find out what your soul mission is, and let's all start doing it, because we're all
That is a great
pieces.
message. That is a
It
great
is.
message.
That's a
And
great way to
listeners,
end it.
listeners, take note. That's what you
Yes.
guys do. That's your homework from Misty and me and Elizabeth.
Yes.
So Elizabeth, where can listeners find your book? Where can they find out about you or find out more about you?
My website, infinitehuman.com. Just subscribe, because I send out newsletters for free. I mean, it's not about, I'm not trying to market anything. I don't need money, really. Finally, I don't need money. Thank God. No, really, I don't.
Teach me
And
your ways.
it's amazing, but I always had money whenever I need it. So it's not about that. But then you can get it. And I always encourage people to get a print book, so you get off these screens, so you can read it, so you can sit in the sun and whatever.
Take notes.
Yeah. And it's on Amazon, everywhere. Amazon.
Okay.
All over.
Listeners, I will put a link to her website and a link to her book on Amazon. If you can send those to me after the podcast, that'd be great.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'd love to thank our sponsor, Everclear. Everclear is an advice app where you get advice from psychics and empaths, so you can get the clarity you need to create the life you deserve. It's everclear.com, and it's an app in all the app stores ever. I think there's only 2. And
Thank you,
Elizabeth,
guys. I enjoyed your energy, your
I
questions.
enjoy your energy.
Oh, we had a blast.
Yeah,
I'd love to do it again.
I'm so glad it worked out. Listeners, we had a hard time getting this going on today. It was a big, like we told about
so worth
it happened for a reason.
Yeah.
We are so happy you were here. And Misty, as always, thank you.
Nissa, thank you.
And listeners, thank you as always for listening, and we love you. And wherever you may be, have a wonderful time. And I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Goodbye.